Hey, welcome to Have Your Best Week Ever. That's right, Have Your Best Week Ever. We're just trying to make sure we're going live. Yeah, we are going live. Slight delay. That's the great thing about it is when you sit up producing a little bit yourself, you had to kind of play a little backseat driver, I guess, co-pilot and navigator at the same time. And that's something you have to do. And hey, it's just part of what we do. But we're alive, and as we move forward, let me turn that volume down so you don't get an echo as you're listening in. But this week I'm excited about what we're talking about as we're growing through the fourth quarter. That's right, growing through the fourth quarter. And if you're on YouTube, we're going to go ahead and jump on Periscope. I said I wasn't going to do Periscope, but let me get Periscope up and going. Let me get her up and going here. And that's going to be real quick here. And look at our Peacekeepers on. That's the great thing about Periscope. You're able to jump on. If you're not using Periscope to connect with people and build an audience, I challenge you to definitely use Periscope. Periscope is a great tool, and you can have fun with it. You can hear interactions immediately. That's right. You can hear interactions immediately. You can see them, and you can engage with your audience. So let me just type this in: best week ever. Welcome to the broadcast tonight, and we look forward to just sharing it with you and hopefully helping you just grow a little bit more. Because you think about it, if you grow every day, that's right. If you grow every day, and even if you just grow every week, how much would you have grown through this year? Just 1% a week. Most people say, "Hey, I would have grown 52%." But actually, it's a little bit less. It's actually a little bit more because your growth is compounded. So keep that in mind. Your growth is definitely compounded as you grow through changes and become a new you. So I just want to say welcome to Periscope. We got Periscope on, and I think we got everything up and going, and just want to try to go on. If you're listening in, I just want you to begin to reflect on this week. And one of the things that we do when we get off this call, we actually go through what we call Have Your Best Week Ever. And that's found inside the Facebook group, Have Your Best Week Ever. So if you go over to the group, look over there, and there's a tab to call File. And a lot of people don't realize that tab is inside of Facebook. So you can actually download files that we have up, as well as we have a link to a couple of tools that we're going to use today on today's call, and just share that with you. So I want to challenge you to just think about that, and as we grow through that, and use those tools, because the growth plan is there for you to share. Please feel free to share that with anyone and everyone. So we got it out there just so people can use it and benefit from it. So I'm just going to give people a few more minutes to get on as we get ready to just get right into the lesson. Like I said, I love to be respectful of your time. I say 45 minutes. I try to keep it under 30 minutes so we can actually share, and you can get on to your Sunday night planning your best week ever, because that's the key. That's the purpose of this call. I had someone ask me a couple weeks ago, Howard, you do this every Sunday night? I said, hey, my goal is to do it every Sunday night. That's right. That way I can make sure that we are adding value to you. You're taking time out of your week, and hopefully we can leave you at least with one nugget, if not two, that you can use to help grow your life and grow your business. And that's what we're going to be talking about this week, is just really growing through. That's right, going through, growing through. Well, Howard, what does that mean? That means you need to grow your life. Welcome, Peacekeepers. We've got folks jumping on Peacekeeper right now, and appreciate you coming on. And hopefully, what we share with you will help you. If you want to see or get the slides or see the slides, unfortunately, you can't see the slides on Periscope, but you can go over to haveyourbestweekever.com. That's right, haveyourbestweekever.com, and just simply click on live, and you'll be able to see those, and then join our Facebook group. You join our Facebook group, and guess what? You're able to download the files and the tools that we use to have our best week ever. And got an exciting week coming up, and just excited about all the things that are going on with us. But as we look at it, and if you care to share, you can type in the group, Facebook group, one of your biggest challenges from last week. And, from the last call, we were actually talking about winning the fourth quarter. So we were in the, winning that fourth quarter is a key thing. And, you want to make sure that you dominate the fourth quarter. You definitely want to try to win the other ones, but you want to dominate the fourth quarter. You want to just make it happen. And if you watch football, that's what coaches stress. Hey, I want to win the game, but in order to win the game, most of the times I have to win the fourth quarter. You don't want to coast going in losing the fourth quarter. Saw some games yesterday that ended that way, but we won't go there. But as we get ready to jump in, we're going to jump right in. I'm going to share my screen. So if you're on Periscope, you won't be able to see the screen, but you can actually go over to haveyourbestweekever.com. That's right, haveyourbestweekever.com. So I'm going to jump back over here real quick. And let's see if we got everything up. I think we do. Let's see if I got it correctly this time. That's right. I'm going to kick the slideshow off, and hopefully you'll be able to see this from the beginning here. But as we talk about it, what is that growth plan for your fourth quarter? What is your growth plan to close out the year? I want to ask you that question. What is your growth plan to close out the year? I always love to reward people that show up. So simply just text the word reward to 225-412-7300. Got a free gift for you. And it's a book that we utilize that will really help you and bless you to grow. So I challenge you to text that 225-412-7300, and you put in the word reward. That's right, reward. So if you're on Periscope, I had a couple more people just joining. Wanted to say, hey, just please, go over to Have Your Best Week Ever. You're able to see the slides that we're going through, and hopefully they will bless you and help you have your best week ever. And what we're talking about is growing. One of the things we talk about, we always, challenge you. And if you're on this call tonight, I probably can safely say you have goals. But when you look at goals, what are goals? Goals are really an observable and measurable end result, having one or more objective to be achieved. I wrote this out because I wanted to just talk about a couple things in there that relates to growth. One or more objectives to be achieved with a more or less fixed time frame. That's right, fixed time frame. And that kind of fits the definition for SMART goals. That's what we utilize as SMART goals. And when you think about that, that's what it is. We've set goals beginning of the year, late last year for this year, and it had an end result. It had a number to it. If it was sales, it had a sales number. If it was social media marketing goals, you had a number to it. And you had a time frame to it. But more importantly, it had that end objective. It had a key objective. So what I want to challenge you to ask yourself is, when you look at your goals, that's something you're currently not doing. So therefore, do you have a plan to grow into your goals? You must grow into the goals that you set. If you didn't need to grow into those goals, why would you set them? You would already be doing them. So I challenge you to think about that and ask yourself, do I have a plan to grow into my goals? And then when I ask you that even more specifically, what is your plan? What is your plan? You must have your plan, not someone else's plan, but it must be your plan. So I'm going to ask that question. I want you to write that down. Number one, do you have a plan? The answer is either yes or no. And if it's no, we're definitely talking to you. You came to the right place. And if the answer is yes, we can still help you. And we can help you some also, and help you maybe just find one way to tweak it. Because if you make one change right now, if you make one change early on, it makes a big difference in it. One of the things you look at is that, we're in baseball season, getting ready, moving towards the World Series. But when you look at a person still in from first to second, that next step is the most critical. Getting off the base, just edging out. And that's the way we are when it comes to growing. I mean, it's very critical that we work to grow daily. That's right, grow daily. What is our daily growth plan? What is that strategy for growing daily? So I challenge you to, first of all, get off the base. You're in the game. So if you're listening to this call, you're definitely in the game. But I challenge you to get off the base, because one of the key things is the hardest person to develop is ourselves. We talked about setting a goal. Just imagine this kitty cat is sitting here dreaming of being a lion. And there are certain things that there are certain things that you're going to have to do and grow into in order to achieve your line or your lioness, your inner lion, whatever that is. So I challenge you to begin to think about that. First of all, you got to have those goals, but then you're going to have to grow into them. As you shape your growth plan, I challenge you to think about the various areas that you're going to seek to grow into, because a lot of times we keep it in one area. That's right, we keep it in one area. We focus on business or finance, but we need to have that balance. You want to, if you look at the wheel of life, you truly want to have that balance. You want to have a balanced life. You want to have balanced goals, balanced things that you're pursuing, that you are growing toward. So I think that is very key. And as you identify those things in these various areas, and the areas that I wrote down was personal, business, spiritual, family, and financial. So I think you should have a growth plan in all of these areas. Are you working on all of them at the same time? No, because some you're stronger in right now than you are in others. There may be times where people seek for a work-life balance. I challenge you to use the phrase work-life harmony, because there are going to be seasons that you're going to be just not able to spend a lot of time with family, but you got to communicate and let them know that. I'm going into that season right now with where I'm at. And this week in particular, it's going to be a challenging week where I got to focus on a particular business that I'm involved with. So other things, I've already told people, no meetings. I can't do anything outside of that, because that is my focus. That's what's going to create harmony for me. So I want you to think about those areas. What areas do you want to start your growth plan in? What areas? And then ask yourself why. Why is very critical, because why is what helps you. As you move forward and begin to develop that growth plan, your why is what's really going to help you, because it's going to be a journey. We're going to spend most of the time on the journey. Most of the time will be spent on the journey. A lot of people look at it, set a goal or set a destination, and they don't realize that, I'm going to spend most of my time not at the destination. It's like when you go on a trip. You ever took a road trip, you go back to college, and there are certain people you didn't want a road trip with, because whatever that destination was, wherever you were going, most of the time was spent not there. It was spent going with them. So I challenge you to think about that and really learn to enjoy the destination. The other thing is, as we look at those areas, we talked about those 5 areas where we want to have work-life harmony, but we got to remember that growth is not a single event. So one of the things I want you to do is block off time. You got to develop a strategy and a system, but one of those things that will help you is to drop some of the things that you're doing and set some time aside to grow daily. And I would challenge you to do that for the rest of the year. Thanks for the hearts on my Periscopers. And if you want to see the slides, hey, we're right in the middle of just sharing some things. You can go over to haveyourbestweekever.com. But as you're growing through the rest of this year, I want to challenge you to block off time every day to grow. Because when I talk to you next year, I want to be able to say, you're not the same person. That's what I want to be able to say. And I want you to be able to feel it. Hey, something different has changed about me. So that's number one. Number two is that you got to have systems in place. One of the coaches I subscribe to and listen to dearly, he simply says this: Howard, systems are for winners, willpower is for fools. So what is that you're going to do? What systems do you have in place? And we're going to share a couple things and some tools, and we'll have those over in the Facebook group. Then remember, you got to make trade-offs. Howard, what do you mean trade-offs? Well, that was kind of obvious there. Red apple, sugary glazed donut. Which one is going to be yours? Yeah, I'm sorry. Which one is going to be yours? Sugary apple? No, not sugary apple. That's actually at the carnival. Sugary donut or the red apple. As Zig Ziglar said, he took that analogy. An apple a day will keep the doctor away. Yes, that will. But how easy is it not to eat the apple each day? And that's what I want to challenge you with your growth plan, is to make sure that you eat that apple every day. There's an apple that you have to eat. And then the other thing is to stretch. There's a law called the law of the rubber band. Let's see if I got a rubber band here on the desk. I thought I had some and should have had it out already. When I put this rubber band here, it's useless. But when I stretch it, that's right, when I stretch it, that's when it becomes useful and helpful in some form of fashion. And that's the way we are. We must get out of our comfort zone. That's right. We must get out of our comfort zone. We must be stretched in order to grow. No growth happens in the comfort zone. So if you're writing and taking notes on this call, write this down. No growth happens in the comfort zone. You must be uncomfortable to grow. And then as you working to grow, I want to challenge you to really push to your outer limits. Find the edges. Yeah, find the edges. Find the edges. Find the edges and move it out further. Just when you think it's going to break, it will go a little further and maybe even a little bit further. So I want you to find that in your life. What are the edges of your goals? So you want to stretch, but you want to grow. And that's what we want to do with our growth plan. And then the last thing as we talk about a growth plan is you got to have a team. Yeah, you got to have a team. You got to have others to help you grow. Number one, I'm going to advise you to seek mentors. People that have been there and they can actually help you grow and be more. I think that is very key. Personally, I'm actually writing letters to some individuals that I want to ask them to be a actual mentor to me, have a formal mentor relationship. There are people that gives you advice from time to time that you meet, but I want this to be structured and formal because I want some things that they've accomplished. I really would like to learn from them so I don't have to go through the missteps, not the mistakes, but the missteps that they went through. And then as you do that, you want to develop your team. That's right, develop your team, grow the others around you, challenge them to grow because, as Dr. Dennis Kimbro says, if you're the smartest one in your group, you're in the wrong group. So you want to have sharp people around you. You want to grow them and allow them to do what they're best at. That's right. You want them to do what they're good and best at. So I ask you this question again. What is your growth plan? Do you have a growth plan? If so, what is that growth plan? We're going to go through a couple examples of things that can help you outline your growth plan. I always like to throw you a little bonus, and that's what we do. In Louisiana, we call it lagniappe, a little something extra. So as you look at it, this is a 2-page growth plan. Both of these are 2 examples and formats that you can utilize. The first thing you want to do is write down that goal. Make it smart. As we say, what is it? What is my goal? Then you want to recapture that and you can break it up into, little bits and bites. And then what is your plan for achieving that goal? Write it out. What are you going to do to achieve that goal? And then you begin to ask yourself, when will I start? When will I finish? And what resources will I need? Resources of who, what, when, where, how will it look? And as you Ask yourself, what is the desired outcome? That's right. What is the desired outcome? What am I seeking to have happen with this goal? Like we talked about those areas. I mean, you can really define those areas. Hey, I'm having fun with the rubber band. But now, if you jump back in this page here, it goes a little bit more into the reflection side of it. Once a month, I would challenge you to go back over that goal and say, what should I've done more of? Or you can do it weekly. Have your best week ever does some of that. When you pull down that system, top of life living, weekly living reflection system, it's going to ask some of these questions. What could you have done more of? What should have you've done less of? And then you're always asking, how will that help? What new things could I do? What should I stop doing? That's right. What should I stop doing? And then this is a separate sheet, just a different way of looking at it, getting you to the same things. What is that personal/professional goal that I want to achieve? What is that goal? And then what strategy? What is the plan? Then the support. What resources will I put in place? The proof. How will I know it's happening? How will I know I'm growing in those areas? What's the evidence? What data? And then I want to review it. What's going to be my evaluation? That's right. What's going to be my evaluation? I just wanted to share with you a call that we're doing. If you're interested in the call, this is not something we advertise a lot online, but we do a 15K and 45-minute call. So if you're interested in, just feel free to inbox me on Facebook. That's Howard White on Facebook, and we'll be glad to share that with you. And then also you can join us on every Tuesday morning, 7:30 Central Time. We have the Top Choice Empowerment Show, and we have various guests on that are enlightening and help us to be our best self. That's right. You got to be the best you possible because everyone else is taken. Then as you go over to the end of this year, I want you to celebrate and win your Super Bowl. That's right. I want you to win your Super Bowl. Whatever that is, I want you to win your Super Bowl. And, just begin to think about that as you grow through and really begin to become that best person, that best you. You want to be the best you possible. And because that's all you can be, because everyone else is taken. As I promised you, I want to try to keep it under 45 minutes, in which we're way under time tonight. But I wanted to just leave you with something here as we talk about growth. Often, as I open up, we set those goals and we're not those goals. Whether they're financial goals, fitness goals, if it's a weight loss goal, just think about it. You're setting that goal to get in better shape, whatever that looks like for you. It has to be your goal. We talked about that, but now I have to grow into it. So I need to put a daily plan and break it down. That's one of the challenges that I'm dealing with right now is a health goal. I say health goal, I have fitness, a place I want to be. I call it my speaker's weight. So I want to be down to 285 by the end of the year, and this is 2015. I want to be down to that weight. So, we're putting it out there because I want you to hold me accountable. When you see me weighing that trade-off, you say, Howard, right hand, that's the apple. Right hand, that's the apple. So as you think about yourself, ask yourself, what areas must I grow in? These are some questions to ask yourself. And if you chose one area to grow in, that's right, one area to grow in, what will be the impact to your life? What will be the impact to your life? So you want to choose that area lively and think about that. And hey, Miss Vanessa Collins, we had a busy weekend working with a lot of people all over the world, and we just want to give her a shout out to an event coming on. I call it pass the scope to the right hand side. You're going to be passing the scope. So as you're listening to this and you want more information on it, go over to Social Media Saturdays and you'll get more information out about that, or just check our Facebook group out at Have Your Best Week Ever, or you can inbox me. However you get in touch with me, we will pass that along, because I think that's a great area. That may be an area you're looking to grow in. You may be looking to grow in marketing. Social media is a form of marketing. Is it something that you utilize in marketing? So, what are those areas you're looking to grow? You have to put a plan in place. The tools that we shared and you're able to download them in our group will help you lay that out. That's right. What is the goal? One of the areas I want to grow my presence online. So we'll have a number that we're growing for, not going for, but we're going to grow for it. I want you to do that. So change the way in which you talk. Say, I'm going through something. No, I'm growing through something. As they always say is, you cannot have a testimony without a test. So that is the growth. The test is the growth. When you're in school, whether you look forward to the test or not, you had to study for the test. And that's the way life is too. Our business is the same way. As we take on new opportunities, we explore new ways to add value to our clients. We have to take the test. I was listening to something this morning and you hear, and it just made me think about tonight. I was excited about the call tonight because, from practice to performance, there's a lot of things that people don't see. From practice to performance, from rehearsal to the recital. If you played music, I used to play the trumpet and got away from it because I didn't love to practice it. So there was no way I could be great at playing the trumpet. Speaking. I love to speak and I love to practice. People will see me just talking and going through things and they say, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to grow in that area. When I see a great speaker, I want to go back and study just the little bitty things that they did to engage the audience and add value, because that's where you want to do. You want to grow so you can add value to the relationships that you're in. So I want to challenge you to do that and ask yourself, what one area, just one for the next 30 days, am I going to focus on growing in? And then as you begin to develop that habit, just add one other. Add one other. And if you add one a month, just think about that. And all of a sudden you're working on all these various areas, but you have a game plan. You remember we talked about putting systems in place, and a game plan is part of a system. It doesn't make you rigid. It doesn't stop you from changing. So I challenge you to think about that, and as you begin to plan your week and write your week out. That's right, write your week out. I know I got some planning to do. We got a busy week. I got to go put a schedule together for retail store, and so people know when they're supposed to show up. That's right, they'll know when they're supposed to show up and actually work. And then the other thing is, I got to lay my week out. All the things that I'm supposed to do and where I'm supposed to be and who I'm supposed to be accountable to and for. So I want you to do the same thing. And we have a great system over inside of Have Your Best Week Ever. If it sounds like I'm plugging, and I am, because I want you to use it. I want you to try it. Give me your feedback. It's a system that we want to put out there and share with others, and hopefully eventually have millions of people utilizing that system and saying, hey, I'm having my best week ever, just because someone pointed out, go over to Have Your Best Week Ever, and that's what I'm doing. So I want to challenge you to do that and really utilize that. Someone on there, who was that, Miss Vanessa Collins, said, hey, that's my challenge, writing my week out. I think that's all of us. Because when we write it out, it is a commitment to ourselves. We said what? The hardest person to lead is yourself. The hardest person to grow is yourself. So that's where you want to be. You think about this, and I use weight loss because it's fitness, because it's very visual. Do you want to go to a trainer that's out of shape? Yeah, just think about that. If a trainer was soliciting you, you went into aerobics class or whatever, to CrossFit, whatever it may be, and that person was just totally out of shape, would you sign up for the class? I think that's the way we must be in our business. If you're going to have a retail store and you expect customers to come in and spend money, you have to have it looking like you would want to go into. the same type of place you want to go into. If you are a coach and a trainer, if you're training individuals on their business and you're showing up late for appointments, not living up to commitments, isn't that a reflection of you? And that's an area you may need to grow into. So you need to put the systems in place that will help you do that. So I just want you to think about those things. What one area can I grow in this month? We're still early in the month, so I want you to plug that in and grow in that area. No matter what day we had to just say, hey, for the next 30 days, I'm going to focus on this. Post it on the wall. Post it on the wall. Hey, I got a blank spot on my wall right here. I think I'm going to do that. Put a couple things here on my wall so I can see it. I got a whiteboard in my office now in front of me where I can see things. That's right. I can see it. And when I kind of get a little off target, I sit there and look at it again. One of the things that I always say, and hopefully you can read this, and if you would love one of these bands, just hit me up. It's a great anchor. Do what you know and not what you feel. That's right. Do what you know and not what you feel. We know what we should be doing, but we feel like doing other things. So I want to challenge you to do that. And as I get ready to close out tonight, just to recap, remember, determine what that goal that you want to focus on. Now, there's a gap between that goal and where you are today. And you must grow into that new person in order to, that's right, you must grow into that new person in order to achieve that goal. So really try to do that and focus on doing it daily. Put the plan in place. You can go over to haveyourbestweekever.com, download the tools that we had there tonight. If you have trouble with it, just hit me up. I'll be glad to. I think I tell you what I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna post it as a PDF so it makes it easier for you to do it. And also I'll probably post a Word document so you can actually edit it and make it work for you. Remember, in closing, I want you to have your best week ever so you can be the best you possible. And when you do that, you're going to be living your purpose and to your full potential. And this is Howard. Look forward to seeing you next week on Have Your Best Week Ever. If you get a chance, Tuesday mornings at 7:30 on TuneIn Radio. Check us out on the Top Choice Empowerment Show. And we also will be Peace-scoping, as I call it. Peace-scoping and a little bit more and more throughout the week, having fun, just when we have those moments and or just hanging out with cool people, or you never know where we might be. All right, take care. God bless. And as always, we shall see you on the other side.